I think here playing against Stanford, you personally, usually that's one of the games where Coach Kelly kind of singles out your opponent as a rivalry game and kind of stepping up to the challenge. Has that been part of the theme this week, or is kind of doing the little things and getting back on track overriding that?
Yeah, I think, it's definitely a game we highlight. I think everybody in the locker room highlights, and especially this year because, they took us out of, the playoff contention last year from what we thought. We're eager to go out there and play these guys and get a little bit of revenge.
Did you think of this when you're I guess your high school, your senior year would have been the big game here, the goal line stand here, but did you really think of this as one of the rivalries when you were about to attend Notre Dame, or did it kind of grow into it as you were here for you?
I was actually here for that game, the Stanford game, and they kind of stressed how important the game was and how big of a rivalry it was. And I also went to the game the year before that at Stanford, and they talked about it there too. So I knew it was a big game coming into Notre Dame, and and being able to play in those games, I see why.
Torii, I was curious about the young defensive backs you practice against, Dante, Troy, Julian, all the time. What's impressed you about them? How are they sort of different in the way you try to deal with them? Just sort of their skill sets, what's impressed you?
I think they have, a tremendous amount of, just pure athleticism. It's just mashing the technique now. They're super young, and in high school, everybody's kind of playing off, their athletic ability. They're probably just more athletic than everybody out there. But when you get here, you kind of have to try to fine-tune everything, and that's the main thing that they will have to work on. But, they have tremendous athletic ability, and they're able to stay with receivers. And, Dante, I think Dante is going to be a really good player. He's super long. Who was Julian?
Yeah, Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Real fast. He has good recovery speed, and he's going to be a smart player for us too.
Have you played against somebody built like Dante in your career? You just don't really see corners who look like that.
Never. Dante is probably the tallest corner I've ever played against, for sure.
And in terms of what challenges does that create for you as a receiver, and then what do you try to take advantage of when a corner maybe is a little bit longer, or maybe not as quick as some of the shorter guys who are out there?
You definitely want to stay out of their radius, and it's just so easy for them to get their hands on you because they're so long, and sometimes it's difficult to block longer guys too because of how long they can extend their arms and stuff. So I think he'll definitely be a problem once he starts nailing down his technique and all that. So he'll be something to look for in the future.
Thanks.
Torii, right up the middle. Obviously, 2-4 is not where you guys expected to be or want to be. As you look now at the second half of the season, how important is it to get those 4 wins to get you guys to a bowl game?
It's definitely really important, and we want to win more than 4 wins, get more than 4 wins, and I think everybody in the locker room believes that we can get it done. And no matter what they say on the outside, we still have a tremendous belief in each other on the inside, and we're just going to keep competing out there every day and just trying to grow as a team, and we're going to stand by what Coach Kelly is telling us, and we're just going to have trust in him and have faith in each other and just try to grind out some wins.
Everyone talks about blocking out the noise. How do you do it? Because I can't imagine that's easy to do. How do you guys block out that noise?
Of course you're going to see it no matter if you're on social media or watching TV, but it's just a matter of just understanding that, they can say what they want to say. They're not here. They're not out there with us every day or every week. So that's kind of blocking out the noise, I think, in my opinion. If you see it, then just don't even pay attention to it. Really, just let it go and just understand that we're the only ones that know what's going on, and people can make inferences, but they never really truly know.
And you mentioned believing in Coach Kelly before. Fans see the interactions on the sidelines sometimes when he's getting on guys. But sometimes they don't see the locker room stuff like Fighting Irish Media put out, showing him saying, hey, this is on me, I got to do a better job and stuff like that. How important is a message like that when he delivers it to you guys to know that, he's in this with you guys just as much as anything else?
I think it's definitely important to understand that, to make everybody understand that we're all in this together, and we're gonna win together, we're gonna lose together. So it was definitely important that he relayed that message to us and just made sure that everybody was on the same page.
Torii, up here, I kind of want to follow up on Anja's question about Coach Kelly's speech to you guys after the game. How has that kind of set the tone for this week after, the first half of the season you guys are 2-4? Is it a positive tone that you guys are able to take into this week, or what sort of has been that going into this week?
It's definitely, I think it's been a positive tone because, I think we're just missing that finishing aspect to the game. It's not like we were, out there getting blown out. It's by a small margin. We were losing these games by, or it's by a last drive loss where we could have won the game. So it's just a matter of finishing, and I think that's one of the things that he's stressed this week, and that's what we need to work on, and we're going to work on it this week. He's putting us in a lot of different situations, and we just got to execute, and I think he's going to continue to do that throughout the week, just at random times during practice, and just try to get us to get used to finishing games.
I guess last year the team was somewhat used to finishing games, or at least getting close in a lot of them. What sort has been lacking from last year to this year in that regard?
I think just guys playing at their highest level when it's needed. Across the board, coaches, players, we just all got to be on our P's and Q's and just perform at a high level at the end of the game, and we just got to make it happen. So I think that's probably the biggest difference.
Was that a hump for you to get over as a underclassman, playing maybe in 2014 of the down the stretch, I got to be at my best type thing? Is that a difficult thing to get over?
I think once again it comes with the experience, like with anything else. It's just going through it a couple of times, and then you just kind of can have there's a certain comfort level that you get when you get into those situations, those pressure situations, and you don't really stress that much. You just understand that you just got to go out here and make a play, and I think that, like I said, it comes with experience, and once I got that experience, I was definitely more comfortable after a while.
And last one for me, what can you take away from Saturday's game as a receiver and working with Deshaun in those conditions? Is there really anything, or do you just kind of have to move on from that tape?
You really just want to move on from it, to be honest. We looked at, a lot of stuff as far as, blocking goes. But as far as throwing the ball, it's kind of tough. The conditions were tough, but we just kind of want to look past it and keep moving forward.
Torii, speaking of Saturday, does the rough everything, not a lot of catches, does that give you guys as an offensive unit extra motivation against Stanford?
I think we're just ready to get out there in some beautiful weather and play some football and throw the ball around a little bit. So I think we're definitely excited to get out there on Saturday.
Aside from finishing, the other thing Coach mentioned yesterday is the offense has to exert its will more. What does that mean to you? What do you think you guys have to do to accomplish that?
I think as far as the receivers go, is just making every play, not allowing the DB to dictate your routes or keep you from getting open. You got to make yourself get open. Maybe the O-line is, finishing their blocks, different things like that. And also, when we go up, maybe 2 touchdowns early, just stand on the gas and continue to put points on the board every time we get the ball. So I think that's, probably some of the main things that I could think of.
Thank you. Torii,
A little different question, but a couple weeks ago, you guys spent some time with a kid from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I'm curious, what was that experience like, and how does spending time with a kid like that kind of change your perspective a little bit?
Anytime you get to spend time with, kids like that, man, your problems don't seem as bad as they are. And that's one of the things that I know me personally, I don't want to take a day for granted because, I know it could definitely be worse than what I have right now. So, I just try to attack every day with a, positive mentality. And, just seeing guys like that is just a reinforcement that, you got to live life to the fullest. And it could always be worse for you. And, this kid is out here, he's having fun and enjoying life no matter what his circumstances are. So I think that everybody should, take note of that and apply it to their own lives.